This afternoon we're at Proverbs 20, verse 3, as we are moving along in this chapter. And I'm going to ask someone to please read.
Avoiding a fight is a mark of honor. Only fools insist on quarreling.
All right. Mine says, too, it is honorable for a man to stop striving, since any food can start a quarrel. The enduring word commentary on this particular verse says, many men feel that honor drives them to dispute and fight with others. This proverb reminds us that oftentimes it is even more honorable for a man to stop striving, to stem it rather than stir it, to be first in promoting peace and seeking reconciliation, as Abraham did in the controversy with Lot. And that's quoted by Trapp. In many circumstances, it takes a man of honor to stop the fight, but any fool can start the quarrel and continue it. The wise are more concerned to bring peace than a desire to be right. But the fool cannot restrain himself, and at the first opportunity explodes and shows his teeth or anger. That's by Walter Key. Ellicott's commentary says, every self-willed person will stir up a fight, thinking that his own personal dignity is at stake. As we know, Proverbs 17:14, it says, the beginning of strife is when one letteth out water. Therefore, leave off contention before it be meddled with. Then Matthew Henry's concise commentary says, to engage in quarrels is the greatest folly that can be. Matthew Poole's commentary says, to cease from strife, either to cease or to prevent it, or if it be begun, to put an end to it, which although the proud and profane person esteems dishonorable to them, is actually indeed to their glory to do that, because it is an evidence of their great wisdom and power over their passions, and of their respect and obedience to their sovereign Lord, in which their honor and happiness consist. It is a great honor to do that, and it shows the wisdom of them and how they love the Lord, and it becomes an honor to them to disregard, to cut it out, to snuff it out, rather than to continue it on. John Gill's expedition says, it is an honor for a man to cease from strife, as Abraham did in Genesis, and I'm going to ask you to look that up, Genesis 13:7-9, and ask you to read that. So good. Abraham was a man that showed honor. Genesis 13:7-9.
And there was strife between the herdsmen of Abram's livestock and the herdsmen of Lot's livestock. The Canaanites and the Perizzites then dwelt in the land. So Abram said to Lot, please let there be no strife between you and me, and between my herdsmen and your herdsmen, for we are brethren. It is not the whole land before you. Please separate from me. If you take the left, then I will go to the right. Or if you go to the right, then I will go to the left.
Now look how Abraham was. Because remember, Abraham was a child of God. He didn't lie. So he said the parasites and the others were living in that land. They were going to see them fussing and arguing and tearing off. And he said, it's so much land. You look around, decide which side you want. You want the right, I'll take the left. You want the left, I'll take the right. Okay? That was to cease from strife, because strife was coming. They were quarreling. His herdsmen and Lot's herdsmen. They were quarreling about the land and how they could put the livestock on the land. Okay? Because they felt wasn't enough to hold both of their livestock. It is an honor for a man to cease from strife, as Abraham did when engaged in a quarrel with Lot, or it's even an honor to a man if he's engaged in a quarrel with his neighbor, or if he is called in a lawsuit, or he's in a religious controversy. Whether right or wrong, it is better not to pursue the issue to no good and to quarrel to no profit. It is an honor just to let it go. But every fool will be meddling in it. He has no concern in it. It doesn't even concern him sometimes. And yet he will carry on the debate even to his disgrace. He will go on and on and on. So it's foolish to debate with them. Cut it off. You can see where you're going. Just hush and leave it alone. Pulpit commentary says, a prudent man will not only abstain from causing quarrels, but will hold himself away from them, from as much as possible all contention, and will have due care for his own honor and dignity. Remember, the scripture says you argue with a fool, you become like him. So it's best to step away from that. How different from the modern man thinking, which makes a man's honor consist in his readiness to avenge, and even at the risk of his own life or even his neighbor's life. He going on and on and on and on. And that's why we have road rage. How foolish is that? To the risk of your life and the other person, and it has caused others life. It has cost their life because the person pulled in front of you. They didn't wreck you. You still driving. Just let them go on. And my grandmother used to always say this: you never have to ask a fool who he is. He'll always tell you. His actions will always tell you who he really is by the way he does. The Bible Knowledge Commentary says, avoiding strife is honorable, though the way some people act, they so quick to quarrel, it would make you think quarreling is honorable instead of the other way around. Such people are fools, says the Bible Knowledge Commentary. Arguments can be avoided by just overlooking the insult, by dropping the issues that can become potentially volatile, and by getting rid of the mockers, the ones that love to agitate. And it's best. In talking to my friend this morning, That's what she said to her family member. I'm not going to get in that. I'm not going to add to that. I'm just going to leave that alone. And that's the best thing to do. Because sooner or later, people will figure out that other person is doing all the talking and you just keeping your mouth shut. And that works out. J. Vernon McGee, and I knew he would have something good to say, so I left that for the end. Through the Bible, commentary says, one of the marks of a Christian should be that he does not prolong tension and strife. That's the mark of a Christian. He does not prolong, he does not just go on and on and on and on. He wants that settled. Someone has said that the only persons we should try to get even with are the people who have helped us. Let's see how we can out-help them, that we can outdo them in helping them. In other words, repay good with good. Don't try to get even with the enemies. Do not respond with evil for evil. Instead, be yielded to God. For God has said, vengeance is mine. I will repay, saith the Lord. Romans 12:19. It is on that basis that God tells us not to avenge ourselves. It is actually a departure from the pathway of faith to attempt to take matters in our own hands. Now, the Lord is not talking about where there are laws to take care of issues, but we don't take it in our own hands. We do the right thing. We do the lawful, the Christian thing that we are supposed to do. And we don't get involved with that person. That's the best thing to do. God can do a lot better than we can. Always has, always will, and always does. Okay? The child of God should remember what Paul said to the Philippians believers. Let your moderation be known unto all men. The Lord is at hand. That's Philippians 4:5. Matthew Arnold translated this word moderation, this is so good, as your sweet reasonableness. Let your sweet reasonableness be known unto all men. That is the meaning of Proverbs 20:3. It is an honor for a man to cease from strife. How important it is. Let your sweet reasonableness, you are reasonable. You know not to get into that. You just say, okay, well, all right. Now you can't do that. I can't do that on our own. We need the Spirit of the Lord, and we need to want to do it. He has to help us do that because our nature is the same. What? What did you say? All right. It's on. That's our nature. But we want to let God to help us with that and not get entangled in that because the fool loves that kind of stuff. They love trouble. They love gossip. They love strife. They love it. And the more contention there is, the better they love it. They go on and on and on and on. It's no end to it. It's no end to it. Even when a person's life is taken, they still standing there fussing and ready and cursing and carrying on. But it is an honor. It should be the mark of a Christian should be the Christian mark to want to cease from strife, not keep. That's torn up many, many church bodies. Foolish people who love contention. They come in ready for a fight. And anything that's said, well, I don't think so. And long years ago, when I lived in another town, we were in a meeting, and we were trying to decide, we wanted to cook something different meat that we usually would make. And said, well, let's not have chicken, let's have sauce. I don't want that. One person, everybody know eat that. So we named something else. Well, let's have, I don't like that. I don't want that. So finally somebody was wise enough to say, well, what do you suggest? Oh, ask me, I don't know. That person just wanted to argue for argument's sake. They did not have any ideas, any suggestions, anything that was relevant to be helpful. They just came to say, no, we don't want that. No, nobody's going to eat that. No, I don't like that. Blah, blah, blah. So when you ask them, well, what do you want to eat? Don't ask me. But it is a mark of a Christian to want it settled, done, move on in the name of the Lord. But we cannot do that without God being in our hearts and us yielding to Him. What a good lesson for today.